What's up, everybody? It's the Incredible Conundrum, and welcome back to Name a Game. This is a series where we dive into classic video games, talk about their history, their secrets, and figure out why they're still legendary years later. Today's episode features one of the greatest retro game collections ever made, Super Mario All Stars for the Super Nintendo. And if you grew up in the 90s, there's a very good chance the game lived in your console longer than most of your other cartridges. Released in 1993 by Nintendo, Super Mario All Stars was something completely different at the time. Instead of releasing a brand new Mario game, Nintendo took four classic Nintendo Entertainment System Mario games, completely remade them with 16-bit graphics, improved sound, and even added something that felt like magic back then: save files. Yes, you could finally save your progress instead of leaving the system on overnight and praying nobody turned it off. This cartridge wasn't just one game. It included four legendary adventures: Super Mario Bros., Super Mario Bros. 2, Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. That's basically the Mount Rushmore of classic Mario games. Let's break them down. First up, the game that changed video games forever, Super Mario Bros. Originally released in 1985, yes, 1985, this game introduced the world to Mario, the Mushroom Kingdom, and the classic mission of rescuing Princess Peach from Bowser. Simple concept: jump on enemies, avoid pits, save the princess. But this game created the blueprint for platformers forever. Hidden blocks, warp zones, power-ups like the Super Mushroom and Fire Flower, and that iconic underground music that every retro gamer instantly recognizes. Fun, nerdy fact: the original Super Mario Bros. Sold over 40 million copies. Yes, 40 million copies, making one of the best-selling games of all time, which means millions of people spent their childhood jumping on Goombas like it was their first full-time job. Next up, we've got the oddball of the group, Super Mario Bros. 2. If you played the first Super Mario game and then jumped into this one, you probably had the same reaction a lot of people did. Wait, why am I pulling vegetables out of the ground? That's right, instead of jumping on enemies to defeat them, like the original Super Mario Bros., this game changed the formula completely. You're grabbing turnips, picking up enemies, tossing bombs, and basically weaponizing anything that isn't nailed down. And honestly, it's chaotic in the best way. One of the coolest parts of this game is that you play as four different characters. You've got Mario, the balanced all-around hero; Luigi, who jumps higher than everyone else but feels like he's running on ice skates; Toad, who is the fastest character in the game and can pull up vegetables out of the ground faster than anybody. And then there's Princess Toadstool, who has the ability to float in the air for a few seconds, which basically feels like you just activated easy mode. The Dream World. The story of the game is also pretty different from the usual Mario games. Instead of Mushroom Kingdom, the game takes place in a strange dream world called Subcon, where the villain Wart has taken over. So instead of fighting Bowser, you're battling weird enemies like Shy Guys, Ninja, and Birdo. And yes, Birdo might be one of the most confusing enemies in retro gaming history because she literally shoots eggs at you. which you then pick up and throw back. And here's the really interesting part. The reason this game feels so different is because it actually started life as a completely different Japanese game called Yumi Kojo Doki Doki Panic. Nintendo basically took that game, swapped the characters for Mario characters, and released it as Super Mario Bros. 2 in North America. Meanwhile, the real Japanese sequel to the first Super Mario game eventually became Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, which we'll talk about in a minute. Why fans love it. And even though it's the weirdest Mario game in the lineup, a lot of fans absolutely love it. It introduced characters like Birdo and Shy Guys, who became longtime members of the Mario universe. It experimented with gameplay mechanics that were completely different from the original game. And honestly, throwing vegetables at enemies never really stops being funny. So yeah, Super Mario Bros. 2 might be the strangest cousin in a Mario game, but it's also one of the most creative and unique platformers Nintendo ever had. Now then, we get to what many gamers consider the crown jewel of this collection, Super Mario Bros. 3. When this game originally released, it felt massive compared to the earlier Mario games. Instead of just moving from level to level, you explored a full overworld map, choosing different paths and discovering secrets along the way. Every world had a different theme too. Grasslands, deserts, giant worlds where everything is huge, and even sky worlds with floating platforms. It made the adventure feel bigger and more varied than anything Mario had done before. The game also introduced some of the most iconic power ups in Mario history. The big one, of course, is the Super Leaf, which turns Mario into Raccoon Mario and lets him fly across parts of the level. The first time players figured that out, it felt like unlocking a secret superpower. And fun fact, before most players even got their hands on the game, Super Mario Bros. 3 was teased in the movie The Wizard, which instantly made it one of the most anticipated games of its time. Between the creative worlds, memorable power ups, and incredible level design, it's easy to see why so many people still consider Super Mario Bros. 3 one of the greatest platformers ever made. And finally, we get to the game that humbled retro gamers for decades, Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. This was actually the real sequel to Super Mario Bros. In Japan, but when Nintendo looked at it, they basically said, yeah, this might be a little too brutal for players outside Japan. So originally, it never released in North America. And once you play it, you understand why. This game takes everything you learn from the first Mario and turns the difficulty way up. There are poison mushrooms, invisible blocks placed exactly where you're about to jump, and platforming sections that require pixel perfect timing. It's basically Mario saying, oh, you beat the first game? Cool. Let's see if you're actually good. For many players, Super Mario All Stars was the first time they ever got to experience this infamous game. And that's part of what makes this collection so special. You're not just playing classic Mario games, you're getting a piece of gaming history. 4 legendary adventures that help define platforms for generations. And honestly, that's why Super Mario All Stars still holds up today. Better graphics, upgraded sound, save features, and for one of the most important games Nintendo ever made, all packed onto one cartridge. It's basically a Mario time capsule. Now, which of these games is your favorite? Drop it down in the comments. Follow and share for more retro gaming, Nintendo history, and nerdy deep dives on Name a Game. I'm the Incredible Conundrum, and game on.